This one at 17.
I love this one. This sets up well to his right to left ball flight, left hole location. Perfect club, just hammered an 8-iron in there to about 4.5 feet.
Rogers hit a gorgeous shot in this spot at 18 for birdie, and the final 36 hole scoring record on tour, 61, 62, 123. That's a 19 under. Hal birdied 15, 16, 17. This to win at 18 looks pretty good. Just fell off. You prefer to hit first or second in a playoff, Justin?
I would like to hit first.
Because?
Because you're not concerned about anything other than your own shot. If your opponent hits it down the fairway or in trouble, it can affect your whole mindset. So would love to hit first in a playoff.
Give you a look. It's 458 yard 18th hole.
Just like a slow motion on the
Doesn't get any better than that.
Mike, you got a shot there? Flag down there?
And Charles Howell making his way back to the tee box. All right, Justin, what's the best way to attack this hole?
Well, you've got to attack it from the fairway. You see the bunker on the right, 270 yards carries that, but if you do carry it, you're probably going to go in the hazard. Plenty of room down here to drive it. We saw Patrick Rogers get it past the cart path, but got to hit it from the fairway to attack this front right hole location. Just 6 over the edge, about 8 to carry over that bunker. And we've seen a few birdies here today. Just a gorgeous setting.
Charles, good play. Charles, Joe Adams, CEO of RSM. He's going to be helping us here today. Gentlemen, we're going to play 18, 18, 17, and 18 we play. Patrick, you finish first. Joe, if you'll hold the hat, you'll let him draw first. Go for it. 2. Okay, Charles, you'll be leading off. Play well.
Thanks. Thank you.
Mark Russell of the PGA Tour fixture out here. So Charles Howell III will play first.
Yep. Similar to what we just played it in? Yes, absolutely.
They're talking about the conditions and the wind. It's very similar to when he was on this tee 15, 20 minutes ago. The wind is out of the same direction. It might be blowing a couple of miles an hour harder, but virtually the same type of a tee shot he just hit.
And for Charles, he'd love to just start something up the right center, maybe center the fairway and get it turning over just a touch.
And they like it back there. Might have run through this right side, but now it landed softly. It's going to be a great spot.
Another good drive for Charles Howell III. A lot of quality shots down the stretch. If you are just joining us, playoff here at the RSM Classic between that man, Charles Howell III, who has not won since 2007, and a promising young talent out of Stanford, Patrick Rogers, who shot 61-62 on the weekend to make this playoff.
The way he birdied it the first time around in regulation, he started it down the left-hand side of the fairway, rode the wind with a little cut, and hit it past the cart path and left himself a wedge. Going a little right, might need a kick.
Well, soft bounce, might have just gotten into the first cut, but shouldn't be in any trouble.
Well, Justin, here we are, 2 guys who were world beaters in college. They've taken circuitous routes. Patrick Rogers and Charles Howell III is a big spot for both players.
It really is for Patrick Rogers, a young player who won a lot of tournaments at Stanford, was a Haskins Award winner back in 2014, trying to fulfill his promise. And then Charles Howell, who's, all the talent in the world, and he's starting to put some things together, maybe becoming more of a complete player, the player we thought we were going to see back in his mid to upper 20s, but both have a lot on the line here today.
We as announcers talk about intangibles, and we've never experienced it, frankly. You have. You won the biggest events in our sport. You won the Players. You won the Open. You've been a part of a Ryder Cup, hit that great putt at Brookline. What are some of those intangibles that push talented players over the top to become champions?
Well, those intangibles are having a feel for the game, working on your weaknesses, and being an all-around complete player. I see Charles Howell working on that and doing that. Patrick Rogers has all the makings, hasn't quite done it yet as a professional.
Situations like this is where you find out what guys are made of. Let's go down to Aaron Oberholzer.
Thanks, Rich. I'm here at Patrick Rogers' ball, and you can see that he is in the first cut of the rough, and he's blocked out by these dunes visually, okay? He can see just barely the top of the flagstick in the distance, and that's going to be a little bit of a problem for him visually, because before he had a clear line at it. He's got 151 yards, pretty flat lie. Judging how the ball's going to come out of this first cut might be the biggest issue for him. Kurt, what does Charles Howell have?
Thank you. Charles Howell has a great lie here. He has 154 yards. The same issue with the dunes in front of him, but he's got a flag behind the stands he can aim at. I think what you're going to see here is he'll try to take that bunker in front right. He'll try to take that out of play, try to land something at least 150 yards. That takes the bunker out of play, and just give himself another shot at the win.
A couple of PGA Tour winners down on the ground, Kurt Byram and Aaron Oberholzer. Good crowds here, St. Simon's Island. Week started off really cold. Guys were wearing beanies, hand warmers. Thursday and Friday morning, temperatures in the 40s, low 50s. Spectacular weekend. Good finish to match. Again, this is the final day of the fall portion of the FedEx Cup season. 6-week break. And then we'll resume at the Century Tournament of Champions on Maui in early January. Both these guys hoping to be in that field. They are not currently qualified. It's a 20-yard difference versus the drive he hit about 30 minutes ago.
Well, you can see this flag here at the 18th. It blends in with a little bit of the surroundings behind the green. But that's what Patrick Rogers is looking at.
What's that? I thought so.
Cameron mentioned it. Not easy to see.
No, this is he is blocked out visually. This is really, really not that hard. I mean, I should say it's very difficult to see from where he's at. He's got these tall, like cattail-like things.
That's a perfect one of those. Basically going with the golf club. Perfect.
Well, in this situation, guys, you'd want to have something you can hit hard and spin out of this lie.
Thanks so much.
Especially with that pin cut so tight to that right side just over that bunker, especially on the downslope. He can get a pitching wedge there, no problem, from 151.
Well, and he's just aiming about, trying to hit it about 6 or 8 feet left of this whole location.
Now to the left, trying to fade back.
Not too bad. This is Patrick's first ever playoff on the PGA Tour. Charles Howell III, on the other hand, is 1-4.
As Aaron said, he's got to hit something hard, get down into it steeply to try and put some spin. Even out of this first cut, he accomplished that.
But Charles Howell has a similar yardage as the first time around. He hit 9-iron then. He's got 9-iron again now. And remember, he was just slightly long. So if he hits this on the button, it should be the perfect club. Headed a hair right. He might get a bounce.
And it just checked up a little bit, but he's got a good look at birdie.
unmistakable Cadillac XT4. Once again, driving is wonderful. Starting under $36,000. What's inside? Possibilities. What we deliver by delivering.
Turf napping. Seen it? Covered it. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
Hold up. Why would anyone steal turf?
Hey, Ricky, do you know why anyone would steal a large patch of turf?
No, no idea.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
A beautiful and dramatic late afternoon here on St. Simon's Island. Final round of the RSM Classic. Patrick Rogers trying to win for the first time. Charles Howell for the first time since 2007. First solo of the playoff. And Rogers will be first, and let's bring in Aaron.
Yeah, he's got a great look here, Rich. Just as up the hill, he can be aggressive. One of those putts that, you know, as a right-handed player myself, I dreamt about, even though it's not exactly one you'd call makeable. They're all makeable, I guess, but he can definitely be aggressive uphill, right to left, maybe 2 balls, 3 balls out on the right. The biggest thing is that he can hit it. He doesn't have to play defense on this putt.
Well, and the putt he made in regulation was from the other side of the hole, but a different angle, so he won't get any help from what he saw earlier on the 72nd hole.
You know, he made a lot of changes to his putting over the last year, and 2 years ago he was 123rd in the in the putting stats, strokes gained putting, and he went all the way to 9th last season. He just told me at Sanderson Farms he went back to some old drills that he was doing at Stanford, and they helped huge.
This putt for birdie to apply some heat. Good run. So Charles Howell III will have a chance to win if he makes. Rogers' best finishes on tour. Runner-up twice, Wells Fargo in 15 and John Deere last year. The expectations were for a lot more. Who knows, maybe this will be the week. Charles Howell with something to say about that. Kurt, what's it look like?
When I walked by and took a look at it, it's a slightly downhill coming off that fringe. The fringe is very closely mowed, so no big issue there, I don't think. It should turn a little bit to the left going down that hill. It's not a putt he can really be aggressive with. I think he's just got to guide in there, down that hill, down green.
No, I think this is a putt that Charles Howell likes. He may have gotten a little bit of an idea what it does around the hole there from his putt in regulation. Speed, is it enough? Not quite.
Second straight hole. Agonizingly close. Back to 18. Yet again, second playoff hole.
Well, he's had 2 putts to win this tournament, and he's hit 2 good putts.
Touch is good. Absolutely no clinch in that. But off.
unmistakable Cadillac XT4. Once again, driving is wonderful. Starting under $36,000.
Turf napping. Seen it? Covered it. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
Hold up. Why would anyone steal turf?
Hey, Ricky, do you know why anyone would steal a large patch of turf?
No idea.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
FootJoy presents the pros on the redesigned Pro SL.
I wear them for the support. They're just so comfortable. Love the traction, love the stability.
I have to say, they're pretty stylish. And that's coming from me, Ian Poulter.
I guess you could say I put the Pro in Pro SL.
Wait, I thought I put the Pro in Pro SL.
Hey, wait a second.
Did Adam just say he put the Pro in the...
Well, that's all the time we have for today.
Begins here at the World Golf Hall of Fame. So for the love of golf, go.
About 45 minutes until sunset here on St. Simon's Island, southeast Georgia. So we figure at best 3 more holes. We're 1 hole into this playoff between Patrick Rogers and Charles Howell III. They're going back to the 458-yard par 4 18th hole. They both just made par. Rogers shooting 61-62 on the weekend. They come from 12 back. And Howell, 67 today after starting in 3 over through 2 holes. Howell has been really accurate this week.
Actually, it's probably slightly less breeze right now than the first playoff hole, but essentially the same type of setup, same target, same everything. They like it back there.
You heard him say same shot.
Soft bounce. It's just in the fairway.
At this point, it just comes down to a concentration. Can you keep your concentration? This many holes and this much time out on the golf course.
And the answer is yes. Big
This
range
one's
you
got to
got.
hang on. This one's going into the rough, guys.
Yeah, just gets across the cart path and may have settled down just a little bit.
Boy, what a day so far, Justin. And big stuff between Patrick Rogers and Charles Howell III. Really, you applaud what Charles Howell has done. I mean, he's heard it over and over again. He wins money, but he doesn't win tournaments. And he's, at least to this point, he's playing like a guy who's a winner.
Well, absolutely. And Charles Howell is anything but complacent. He's going to turn over every stone. Love the work that he's doing to put himself in situations in practice where you're uncomfortable, go through the motions of the thought process and things and how to deliver in those kind of moments. He's in one of those moments right now.
How about Patrick Rogers?
Well, just the fact that he's won in college, and he's got so many physical gifts that for him to really fulfill and kind of continue the winning ways in college onto the professional level.
Let's go down to Kurt Byron.
All right, Rich. Well, Charles Howell is in a very similar position, not quite as far down with that drive. He's got 160 yards. He still has the dunes in his way, but some good targets beyond the green up in the grandstands there. So I don't know if he's going to be able to muscle that 9-iron in there again. He might have to go with a little 8. That'll be the only difference. Aaron, how about yours?
Kurt, this is a tough lie. This is a cuppy lie down in the Bermuda grass. He's got 126 to the front, 137 to the hole. And again, he's blocked out by these dunes and the bushes that are on the dunes. It's going to be very difficult to spin this golf shot and get it close. He's going to have to do it most likely with trajectory. And we know Patrick Rogers can hit it high.
Here's what's at stake. And by the way, with a win, Charles Howell III would jump to the top of the FedEx Cup standings. Rogers could go to 3rd. Rogers, that exemption would mean a lot. Never been to Maui, the Century Tournament of Champions. The Players in March, after having been in May since '07. Howell hasn't played the Masters in his hometown since 2012. Charlie's made the playoffs, but only twice has he been to East Lake in the Tour Championship. You leave the fall portion as the FedEx Cup leader. You have a great chance, obviously, to end up at East Lake.
Well, we talk all week about, in all fall, how important these early season tournaments are and what a boost it gives a player going into January in that West Coast swing.
More than that, it's the knowledge that you can win out here, which is amazing to say of guys who were so good in college and how early in his career. You might doubt that. It's so competitive out here, as you know.
It is hard to win. I mean, Charles Howell is proof of that with all the tools and the consistency that he has and that he provides year in, year out. To only have won twice, I would say it's probably disappointing to himself, but he's just working hard to try and fill in the holes in his game, and he's doing just that.
Wow. Fully engaged now, 160 yards. Second shot.
Hole 9, same target as the first one. Right there. Yeah, right there, the edge of that last flag on the left, or even right left of that.
Okay, same target and same club, but he said this is going to be a hard 9, and his caddy agreed, so that's the good news. He can go ahead and blast this 9-iron. A little left and fading.
That is a great spot to putt from, coming straight back up the hill.
Caddy is Nick Jones. They were certain of that, the hard 9. You'd rather swing full in a spot like that, hit the hard one?
Absolutely. It's very difficult when you're under the gun like this to take something off of it. When you can hit it hard and the adrenaline's going, and I think Charles and his caddy Nick Jones allowed for that adrenaline, and they planned it perfectly.
Hard to swallow in a spot like this. All right, Aaron, what's Patrick Rogers looking at?
No, he's not looking at much. He's looking at a bunch of bushes in front of him, that's for sure. And luckily, he's about 6'3" and can see over him. I couldn't. But the lie, he really took a hard look at that lie and what he thought he could or couldn't do with it. And this is a pitching wedge from 137, and he's going to have to put this one up in the air. This one left of the flag.
Excellent shot. Under the circumstances.
Everyone's excited about the Chevy vehicles at the Chevy Black Friday sales event.
I can get used to this.
And you will be too when you get 0% financing on our award-winning Chevy cars, trucks, and SUVs.
How is that even possible?
Now get 0% financing for 72 months on popular 2018 and 2019 Chevy models. Or make no monthly payments until next year. The Black Friday sales event ends soon. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
I was playing golf a couple of days ago.
Love golf.
And my friend mentioned a tip a pro gave her.
Did it help?
It completely ruined my game.
That advice was never meant for you.
I like you.
Do you want to show me your swing?
It's too soon.
Get advice that's right for you with Investment Management Services.
Plus member for only $9.97 a month at joinrevolutiongolf.com and start playing better golf faster.
Second hole of a playoff between Charles Howell III and Patrick Rogers here at the RSM Classic. Rogers will be first. So, Aaron, what's this putt look like?
Well, it's pretty much the exact putt that Charles Howell had in regulation to win the golf tournament. So obviously, Patrick wouldn't know what it did because he was in signing a scorecard. He might have been watching on TV, who knows? If he was, it would definitely be helpful. With a couple of green changes on the way to the hole, back up the hill at the end, and as it dies, it will break sharply to the right, as we saw Charlie Howells do. Yeah. Just got to, sorry, Justin, just got to keep that speed up.
Yeah, it's one of those putts where you've got to marry the line and the pace. The easier you hit it, the more break he needs to play. Can you get it out there far enough with enough pace?
So for the third consecutive hole, Charles Howell III will have a putt to win the tournament. Close the first two times, that's for sure. Kurt, how about this putt?
Well, I didn't have a lot of time to read it, but as I walked by, I just didn't see a whole lot. It's uphill, so again, if it does start to break at all, he's got to keep the speed up just a little bit. I had a hard time seeing much, Justin.
No, I think this is exactly the putt you want on this green. Obviously, as you get close to the hole, it gets easier, but putting up the hill might just try and sneak a little bit to his left. But I think this is a very comfortable place to putt from in a comfortable distance. One that, you know, he's not supposed to make this, but the odds are in his favor.
At long last, Charles Howell III is back in the winner's circle.
Just look at the emotion on his face. This has been a long time coming.
4,291 days the last time he won. It was at Riviera in 2007. Family affair.
His wife Heather, his daughter Ainsley and Chase. You can see the emotion on their face as well.
Clutched with a capital C. And that's not something, frankly, we've said a whole lot about Charles Howell III through the years, but you can say it right now.
Absolutely. The grit he showed today, I mean, he got off to a terrible start. Bogey at the first, double at the second. Fought his way back.
And now he's back to Maui. He's back to his hometown for the tournament he grew up watching and he loved. The Masters for the first time since 2012. And he is on top of the FedEx Cup standings as we close out the fall portion. 8 events, 8 of 46. 6-week break, and we'll begin again in Maui. Let's go down to Aaron Oberholzer.
Thank you, Rich. Here with Patrick Rogers. Patrick, phenomenal fight, phenomenal weekend. PGA Tour record, tournament record, scoring record on the weekend. What did you learn about yourself? Even though you didn't get it done the way you wanted to get it done, what did you learn about yourself this weekend?
Yeah, it's been just such a strong building process for the last year and a half. I can't thank my coach, Jeff Smith, enough. We've put in some serious hours, and it's been a long way back to swinging it the way that I'm comfortable swinging it. And the way that I've played this weekend is a testament to how hard I've been working. And I put myself in position, and I'm gutted to not get it done. But congrats to Charles, because he played awesome and definitely deserves this victory.
Yours is coming soon. I just know it, Patrick. Thanks a lot. Let's go to Kurt.
All right, thanks, Aaron. Charles, it's been an amazing run, really. I mean, 7 years without a win since your last victory. How important was this to come out on top today for you in your career?
Well, I don't even know. I just haven't been able to pull it off for so long, and but you know, to hang in there, to turn it around. I mean, the way the guys were playing around me, you know, Cameron and Webb and Patrick posting the number. It's I needed some good fortune on my side, and fortunately had it.
Your wife and kids are here. They no doubt enjoyed watching Dad play today. What do you think was going through their mind when you made that putt on the last?
Probably relief. To be honest, I didn't want to hear about it from my son. But no, you know, it's my kids are now to the age where they're into it, and they're into sports, they're into golf and all that, and it's so they get what's going on, and they get I've failed a lot of times. So fortunately, it was different today.
How did it feel standing over that last putt? You knew you had 3 chances. Finally, the third time you got it to go. What was going through your mind as you stood over that last one?
Well, that I'd messed up the first 2. You know, you don't get that many chances out here, and to have that chance to get that fortune, I just thought, just don't leave this one short. You know, whatever you do, knock it off the green, but don't leave it short.
Congrats. We'll see you over in Maui.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Boy, Justin, you see it right there. Hard game at this level, as you know, but a beautiful game.
It really is. And even the world's best, you have to get used to failure at times. And for tonight, Charles Howell is a winner again.
Well, he changes the way we look at Charles Howell III, that's for sure. Congrats to Charles, his family. Patrick Rogers played outstanding golf as well. We expect big things from him. I enjoyed this part. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. I look forward to it as well.
Golf Central is next to break it all down. Big day on the LPGA Tour and on the European Tour as well. To you, Justin, and all of you out there, we wish you a happy, healthy holiday season. So many people on our end work hard to bring all of this to you, like Reed Burton and Sarah Holm. Thanks to those two, and as well, Brant Packer and Joe Martin, leading all of the hardworking men and women in the truck and on the ground. For Justin, Matt Gogo, Peter Jacobson, Kurt Byram, Aaron Oberholzer, and Rex Hogger, Rich Lerner saying so long from the RSM Classic. Charles Howell.
Wait, what? Everyone's excited about the Chevy vehicles at the Chevy Black Friday sales event.
I can get used to this.
And you will be too when you get 0% financing on our award-winning Chevy cars, trucks, and SUVs.
How is that even possible?
Now get 0% financing for 72 months on popular 2018 and 2019 Chevy models. Or make no monthly payments until next year. The Black Friday sales event ends soon. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Prepare for challenges specific to your business by working with trusted advisors who help turn obstacles into opportunities. Experience the power of being understood. RSM, Audit, Tax and Consulting for the Middle Market.
Turf napping. Seen it? Covered it. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
Hold up. Why would anyone steal turf?
Hey, Ricky, do you know why anyone would steal a large patch of turf?
No idea.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
storm, and now you can explore the set. Witness the epic movie props, and marvel at the incredible set design. I still can't believe this is all made for a movie.
Come down and say your name.
FootJoy presents the pros on the redesigned Pro SL.
I wear them for the support.
They're just so comfortable.
Love the traction, love the stability.
I have to say, they're pretty stylish, and that's coming from me, Ian Poulter.
I guess you could say I put the pro in Pro SL.
Wait, I thought I put the pro in Pro SL.
Hey, wait a second.
Did Adam just say he put the pro in the...
Well, that's all the time we have for today.
Turf napping. Seen it? Covered it. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
Hold up. Why would anyone steal turf?
Hey, Ricky, do you know why anyone would steal a large patch of turf?
No, no idea.
We are farmers.
18 yards, looking to take advantage, and unfortunately Nelly didn't, but Lexi hitting a great approach. That got her to 18 under par. She converted the birdie and gave her a 4-stroke lead, but she wouldn't let herself believe just yet. A bogey at the 16th. Here she is with an eagle chance from off the green at 17.
Yeah, I think going forward, she'll draw on all the great putts that she made this week.
Lead, but she wouldn't let herself believe just yet. A bogey at the 16th. Here she is with an eagle chance from off the green at 17.
Yeah, I think going forward, she'll draw on all the great putts that she made this week, and in particular today, as she looks forward to next season.
So that was a birdie, and she stayed with a 4-stroke lead as we watch her second into 18. And Paige, it was really when this ball landed that you could see her kind of accept the fact she was going to become a winner again.
It was the last obstacle, the last hurdle in the race, and you can tell by her reaction just how happy and excited she is to be in that position once again.
Some hugs with her fellow playing partners today. There was a lot of people to congratulate her on that final green. So Lexi becomes the 9th American player to win on the LPGA Tour this year. But you can see a couple of players with stars and stripes by their name are also on the leaderboard just behind her. Nelly Porter, her second runner-up finish this season to add to her win in Taiwan. Brittany Lincecum won in the Bahamas at the beginning of the year. But it was the champion who spoke to our Lisa Cornwell afterwards.
Alexi, we stood on this very green last year. You were $1 million richer, but fighting back tears. You've been very vocal about your sort of struggles on and off the golf course. To do what you did this week and stand here winning the trophy, how special was it, and sort of to come back and cap off this year?
Yeah, it was very special. This event in general was very special to me, but you know, with how it ended last year, wasn't the way I wanted to. But of course, $1 million helped. But I wanted to win the event. But just it's been a long year, just the ups and downs, and just the things I've been dealing with. They all kind of hit me this year, but to be able to end the year like this and just keep on fighting throughout the whole year, it's meant the world to me, and it just shows that anything's possible. You just have to fight through whatever you're going through.
We hadn't seen you too much coming into this week, and I don't know how you were thinking about your game entering the week, but I saw you, I know you switched putters late. What were your expectations coming into this week?
Yeah, this whole year I haven't been playing too much. I've been taking off certain weeks that I just felt like I needed to rest on, and I did make a few changes. I put in the Cobra F9,
literally about 3 days before I came here, and I feel very comfortable with it, and it helped me out tremendously out on this golf course. And I changed to my old putter and just kind of went back to basics. I've been working on my game a lot, just hitting my draw out there. It's just a matter of consistency and putting it together all 4 rounds.
You used the word comfortable a lot this week, and I think one of the things that you mentioned that made you more comfortable was having your brother on the bag. You walked up to this 18th green. The ball was on the green. What was that conversation between you and Curtis like?
Yeah, once I hit the green, I was like, Curtis, you're walking up to this green with me. You're sharing this moment. Just because it was an amazing week. It was very relaxed. I had not only my brother on the bag, but so many family members out supporting me. But to have him on the bag, keeping me laughing, he's such a goofball, and like he's one of a kind personality. And I just love him so much, and just how much he helped me out this week. I needed that.
And just lastly, you've done a lot of things in your career now, 10-time winner on tour. Where does this one rank?
Definitely high up there. I think just the importance of this event. I mean, this event's huge for me because it is such a special event, but just the importance of it and how I came back just through the long year and just struggling a bit, and just having this kind of finish has helped me out a lot.
Congratulations. And now you get to celebrate. I thought it would be with champagne, but go get your smoothie.
A very open and honest Lexi Thompson with our Lisa Cornwell, and the win makes this the 6th consecutive season that Lexi Thompson has won on the LPGA Tour. That is the longest active streak by some margin. Other names you see there, Se-Young Kim, Brooke Henderson, and Ari Jutanigan were all winners this season as well. But what did she do today, Paige, to get back to the winner's circle?
Well, all week long, her ball striking was extraordinary. But in particular today, what was so important was exactly how she got off the tee. Ball striking into the green wasn't nearly as good, but she hit, and she alluded to it, this consistent draw that she's gone back to. She said she got away from hitting the slinging draw. She was trying to hit it more straight. What the result of that was she had misses right and left. She went back to her old ways when she was a child, hitting it to the right and knowing it was going to come back. Ultimately, I mentioned her ball striking into the greens weren't as good, left her more difficult, longer putts into the green. The other thing that stood out was the lag putting. Typically, when your nerves come into play, you're in contention, haven't been there for a while. You get the nerves in your hands, you're not able to control the distance or speed control. Lexi did an excellent job of doing just that. To me, it was the combination of both the driving and the putting when there was an absence of what she had done so well, and that was hitting the greens. Only missed 3 greens the first 3 days. Today was a different story. She got it done in a different way.
And what other part do you find fascinating about her win, Brando?
Well, she got her bell rung last year, no question about that. But when you're as good a player as Lexi Thompson is, you're going to have a lot of heartbreak. You just are. Think about the heartbreaking losses of Sergio Garcia or Greg Norman or even Phil Mickelson. I don't think it's any surprise that Phil Mickelson, I think he dealt with those losses better than pretty much anybody ever would or ever has. And I think that's why he piled up so many major championships and so many victories. So you can look at it as scar tissue, or you can look at it as an experience. I mean, the case in point, really, if you want to sort of bring it full circle to, I think, Lexi's particular situation. And yes, if you go back and you look at what happened to her last year at the ANA, she could say this has never happened. Nobody's ever gotten 4-shot penalty on the Sunday when they had a big lead. It cost them a major championship. She lost ultimately 3 playoffs and then a CME victory that was in her grasp, and she lost that. You could say that never happens to anybody. But on the other hand, you're good enough to be there. You're good enough to be there again. It reminded me of what happened to Lorena Ochoa in 2005. She stood on the 18th tee at Cherry Hills, tied for the lead in the U.S. Open. She fat hooked it into the water, and okay, she didn't get a 4-shot penalty, but she made a quadruple bogey on that hole. An 8. She lost by 4 shots. At that point, she'd only won 3 times in her career. She came back in 2006, won 6 times. In 2007, she won 8 times. She ultimately won 27 times. Hall of Fame. Everything you could imagine. You get the feeling that it emboldened her. It made her tougher. And that's the way I think Lexi Thompson has to look at last year, because if she gets tough, mentally tough, yeah, she has some issues on the greens, but she's so good that she could win 6, 8, 10 tournaments a year if she just got a little bit tougher. And I think we saw some of that this week.
The other thing we saw over the course of this year is this vulnerability. She actually let people in. She became a more authentic self to the public. I think that's absolutely necessary. You got to be comfortable in your own skin in order to succeed at the highest level. I think this was a huge win and a huge year for Lexi Thompson and what it means for potentially where she can go in the future.
Could this arguably be the making of Lexi Thompson?
Well, look, if she draws on what she did this week on the greens and she comes out and has any sort of semblance of that form on the greens, she averaged 30 putts this year. 30 putts. If she averaged 28 and a half, which is phenomenal, let's say that's phenomenal, there's maybe 29, she'd win 6, 8 times. She's that good. She has advantages of length. You watch those trap short irons that she hits for gimmies all the time. She reminds me of Lee Trevino. I mean, it's so steep of an angle, but she just traps them in there, hits them low, spins them, works them left, works them right. She's phenomenal with her short irons.
Back and stronger than ever in 2019?
I think so, without a doubt.
It's going to be a good holiday season for Lexi Thompson, but the race to CME Globe champion, it's going to be a good holiday season for her as well. Jnpg 66 in the final round today. Let's show you how she got it done. This is her second at the 11th.
When you want to talk about somebody else that has physically demanding qualities, Jnpg is a player we've seen for years and years, since she was 17 years old, can physically do what other players cannot, but we're starting to see the consistency throughout her game.
Yeah, you wonder. I mean, as power has become so dominant on the men's tour, you wondered when it was going to start working its way into the LPGA tour, and you see with Lexi Thompson and Jnpg, you see some very powerful players who are putting it all together.
This too finished in style today.
She's added this weapon in her bag as well. One of the best putters on the LPGA tour this season.
So Jnpg wins $1 million. That is the largest prize in women's golf, and actually the last year of this bonus, because it will change format next year. But let's hear her thoughts in 2018.
Actually, to be honest, first few rounds, I'm thinking about everything. About like CME, about like, you know, low score, like everything. And I feel like it's so tough for me to play. Like when I got up to the first tee, I can't even hit the ball, you know, because I feel so bad. I didn't focus about the thing I should focus on at all. And I've been talking to Pian Lin every day. And today I feel like I don't want to end up my season with I do something like not smart. It's mean like thinking about the outcome. It's mean thinking about the CME, like thinking about everything. I just told myself that like, you know what? I want to be proud of myself. And you know, in last hole I back out like twice. Because like doing second shot, I told myself, oh, this one's gonna be last shot of the year, so I should hit it good. And then I'm like, I shouldn't think about that. So I should come back and, you know, just like have good commitment, and I did.
A very endearing Jnpg, who does top the race to CME Globe for the second time in her career. Brooke Henderson put in a good showing, but wasn't quite enough to take over from Jnpg. Lexi Thompson, incidentally, ended up finishing 8th in the overall standings. Well, up next, we will show you how Charles Howell III dug deep to not only secure his third PGA Tour victory, but make his little boy cry. Look at that for a reaction. We will show you how he got it done today and the effects that it's had on the entire family.
Golf Central is brought to you by TaylorMade and the all-new Rory Jr. set. Passion starts here. Bushnell Golf and the Pro X2 with enhanced slope switch technology.
Turf napping. Seen it? Covered it. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
Hold up. Why would anyone steal turf?
Hey, Ricky, do you know why anyone would steal a large patch of turf?
No idea.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Ball speed is born from innovation. Unconventional thinking creates 360 face cups with thinner faces and urethane microspheres. Rogue ideas unleash speed without sacrificing feel. They change iron construction and set a new standard in performance. This is how distance should feel. The new Rogue irons from Callaway, the #1 irons in golf.
Once and done, it used to be everyone had to be in the office. We lacked the technology to be flexible and productive. Then CDW orchestrated a collaboration solution for us, using the Lenovo X1 Carbon, powered by Intel Core processor technology. Now we can access our network and work together from anywhere.
Hey everybody, coming back for the team building?
Mobility by Lenovo.
No?
IT orchestration by CDW.
This week marked the last official PGA Tour stop for 6 weeks before they resume again in Hawaii in January. And it was a tight final day with a very packed top end of the leaderboard. So let's show you exactly what happened in case you missed any of the action from St. Simon's Island. It's been a long time since Charles Howell III has been in the winner's circle on the PGA Tour. 4,292 days to be exact. That amounts to 1,154 rounds on the PGA Tour in 333 starts. In all of that time, 53 top tens. But could he get win number 3 today? Let's find out. He bogeyed the first, and it got worse the second, Randall.
Yes, imagine if you're Charles Howell and you have a bit of a reputation for never being able to close the deal. You start bogey double, you think, okay, well, that's just the way it is. I can't do anything about it. But my goodness, how he turned things around with a birdie at 5, a birdie at 6, and then underneath the lip, completely plugged, digging deep for a tap-in par.
That was at the 9th, so he was one shot back halfway through the round. Meanwhile, Patrick Rogers was mounting a charge, Paige.
Yeah, Howell's hanging in there, and Patrick Rogers is coming out of nowhere. This ball is in a different zip code when it starts the putt. 85 feet.
Wow. He had a 61 on Saturday, but still was barely on the leaderboard entering today. He would go low, though.
Oh, my goodness, would he ever? He was early on hitting phenomenal iron shots, and then he had a run of 40-footers, 20-footers, 30-footers, and then started hitting it close again, like right there at the 14.
That gave him a one-stroke lead as we join him again at 15.
Yeah, par 5, 238 yards remaining into this green, just an iron. Hard to place it much better than that without getting too aggressive.
With 2 putt for birdie at the par 5, takes a 2-stroke lead at this stage. You thought Charles Howell III might be out of it, but oh no.
Coming off a birdie at the 15th, which he played perfectly, and another perfect hole at 16.
That made him a co-leader once again as we join Patrick Rogers' approach at 18.
Yeah, he's a couple groups ahead, knowing that he's got to get in the clubhouse, potentially leading to birdie, execute that short iron shot pretty darn well. At least gives him a good opportunity.
And could he convert?
Well, he had a dream look, about 6 feet up the hill. It made so many long putts, you figure that one was good. But when you consider all the pressure and the fact that it was Sunday and that he had never done what he was on the cusp of doing, it was especially impressive.
Yeah, the fist pump shows you how important it was. Meanwhile, Charles Howell on the 17th tee.
And this looked like maybe too much of a draw in the air, hanging in the air, but incredibly aggressive, giving himself now a birdie for 19 under.
We was to share the lead once again as we join him at 18.
All week, he has just been machine-like. Hit 12 fairways today, 15 greens, and that one had to look very good from his perspective.
Because it was a putt to win the tournament, and you can see his frustration. So we would go into extra time. He had another putt to win at the first extra hole. Couldn't convert that, but it came down to this.
And after Rogers had missed his putt, he knew he wasn't going to get many opportunities other than this, and took full advantage.
What a moment for Charles Howell III, who secured a long-awaited win win number 3 on the PGA Tour. Patrick Rogers, you got to think his time won't be far away. His 529th start total. Meanwhile, as we show you the leaderboard, some other names played well. Webb Simpson has now shot rounds in the 60s in all 8 of his PGA Tour rounds this fall. Cameron Champ was in the mix as well, but he played the last 3 holes of the tournament in 1 over par, and it was also a final round 63 for Peter Uihlein, so a good day for him. But Charles Howell III has played nearly 82,000 shots in between PGA Tour victories. Let's hear from our RSM Classic champion.
Thank you very much. Charles, you talked earlier in the week about working to try to become comfortable in uncomfortable situations. How did you do today?
Well, I messed it up early, you know, starting off bogey double. And I thought I'd shot myself right in the foot on that one. And fortunately, was able to hang in there, and the guys didn't run away too much until the end there to make some birdies. But I kind of thought after the bogey double, I just said, well, here's you've done it again, but was able to somehow turn it around.
Was there a pep talk along the way that you gave yourself?
I just kept reminding myself just to hang in there. That it was a long day. There was a lot of holes left, a lot of birdie holes left, and you know, in a weird way, that what might have worked against me earlier then started kind of to work for me a bit, because I had a chance to even somewhat recover. And you know, and then seeing Patrick post that 19 under par, you know, those last few holes, all of a sudden it became, okay, you know, you got to do this. And my goodness, I mean, it's for that putt to go in, I was still shocked.
Been over a decade since you had won on the PGA Tour. Where does this one rank? What does it mean to you?
Oh man, it's you know, it means a lot because I've hung in there, and it means a lot that you know, I've had moments where I didn't know if I'd ever win again, and so it means that I can still do it, that I can still compete out here, and you know, with the changing of the competition, you know, play with Cameron Champ last 2 days, the guy hits a 300, 290 yards. I mean, the game is changing, and golf is changing, and you know, I'm still do it, that I can still compete out here, and you know, with the changing of the competition, and you know, play with Cameron Champ last 2 days, the guy hits a 300, 290 yards. I mean, the game is changing, and golf is changing, and you know, I'm almost to turn 40, so I've got to hang in there and do my best.
Well, thanks to Rick Soggett for that interview. Just look at this. What a year it's been for ending victory droughts. And this is just on the PGA Tour. Matt Kuchar was the most recent. Actually, Lee Westwood the same weekend did the same, and did the exact same drought on the European Tour. Phil Mickelson trapped in Mexico after some time. Since the Open in 2013, Tiger Woods, of course, he 3 of his last 4 holes in regulation. Brandon, not only to book his way into the playoff, but then beat a man who we expect to be a young superstar in Patrick Rogers.
In so many ways, Charles Howell has had an enviable career. I mean, everybody would like to have that sort of longevity and the consistency. He's never really finished better than, or finished worse than 77th on the FedEx Cup, never better than 7th on the money list, but all the way through there, very consistent, but without the highs and the lows. Well, he had the highs and the lows today, and the lows came very early, and they were poignant because, look, after he bogeyed 1 and he makes double bogey at 2, it would be so easy to let that adversity sort of rob you of the adrenaline and the intensity, hang your head a little bit, and all of a sudden you go along and you're just not making as many birdies. But he had made a couple of birdies to this point. But at this point, it didn't look like he had a chance to win, but he certainly wasn't going to win if he didn't get that one up and down. He could have easily made bogey, maybe even double bogey if he doesn't get it out. But one of the shots that I thought was especially impressive today was driving it in the front side of a sandy bunker. It'd be so easy to hit this one thin, a little bit fat, but I mean, the great thing about Charles Howell is certainly he can hold angle into the golf ball and trap this, and he did a marvelous job. Back hole location, again, I thought he worked his way around this golf course very nicely, and then to hold a putt on 10 after driving it into a divot. On the 16th hole, with the pin was on the right, he played to the middle of the green, tried to hit a fade in there. That was beautiful. He converted it from birdie. Then on 17, the whole location was on the left. Now, one of the things that have held Charles Howell back over the years is his inability to hit clutch shots with his irons, to give him close birdie putts, to give himself great looks. Well, he'll never hit a better one or a bigger one than that, at least until 2019. He's spent the bulk of his career outside the top 50 in the world rankings, which has, by and large, kept him out of the WGCs. He's only played a handful in the last dozen years. He's only played the Masters once in the last 10 years. And all of a sudden, he's in the Masters. He's ever so close to being in the top 50. And at long last, perhaps becoming the player that everybody imagined he would be.
I had a recent conversation with a couple other touring pros that all enjoyed yard work. And it's an odd thing for a touring pro to enjoy, but it's because you see results. You put in the work and you see the results. With golf, that doesn't happen. Life is not fair in the game of golf. You can put in the result or work all you want, but you may never see the fruits of your labor. And for Charles Howell, he's been in the yard a very long time working on his game, and it's got to be incredibly satisfying now to see the fruits of all the work that he's put in.
And this is his last year in his 30s. He turns 40 in the summer of next year. It'll be interesting to see what this does for him. He's waited so long to get this win number 3. If this propels him on to even more next year, or if we have to wait another few thousand.
Yeah, you wonder if there's a larger picture, that he found something, an ability to work the golf ball. Certainly we learned a lot about Charles Howell between the years today, and he learned a lot about himself between the years today.
Yeah, good for him. And good day for Charles Howell III, and indeed his whole family who were there celebrating with him. Meanwhile, 2 Masters champions were in the final group in Dubai earlier today. We will show you who won the final event on the European Tour season when we come back here on Golf Central.
이제 바꿨습니다. 어때까지 괜찮아?
Turf napping. Seen it? Covered it. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
Hold up. Why would anyone steal turf?
Hey, Ricky, do you know why anyone would steal a large patch of turf?
No, no idea.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
This is Loma Linda, a place with one of the highest life expectancies in the country.
You see so many people walking around here, and they're hundreds.
So how do you stay financially well for all those extra years?
Well, you have to start planning as early as possible.
We all need to plan for 18 years or more of retirement.
I don't have a whole lot saved up, but I'm working on it now. I will do whatever I need to do.
Plan your financial life with Prudential. Bring your challenges. Looks matter. Roll matters more. The new O-Works Red and Black with micro-hinge technology dynamically generates topspin at impact, which gets the ball rolling sooner. The sooner the ball starts rolling, the more it stays on its intended line. See what you've been missing. Odyssey, the #1 putter in golf.
Every day, you can wake up feeling secure about the safety of your mattress. You can rely on your appliances, plumbing, and air quality. And be confident about what you buy, use, and wear. You can feel safer in your world because while you're working hard to be great at what you do, UL is working hard to protect you. UL, certifying, validating, and testing for over a century of trust.
This fall at Topgolf, it's game on, sound on. Watch all the biggest games on all the biggest screens through all the biggest speakers. This is a game changer.